DayZ base building kind of sucks, especially on official, but with these 20 locations across Chernobyl, Livonia and Sakau, you can increase your chances of protecting your loot in 2025, from great clan bases to cozy solo locations to never seen before secret stashes. We'll start strong, the secret room on Triple Yellow Tower. Many players know that you can climb these industrial buildings for great viewpoints across Cherno, Novo and even Nadbor, but did you know there's a secret room about halfway up that hardly anyone ever visits? And with just one wall you can block this room off with enough room to stash barrels and small tents. I had my base here on official in Novo and it lasted a good month before it was eventually raided, as people have little reason to put the effort into visiting this usually useless room. If you want to build one of these yourself, there are 4 located across Chernobyl, 2 in Cherno and the other 2 in Novo, and then 1 on Livonia in the quarry by Nadbor, all equally brilliant spot. Although this is nothing compared to our next secret room. If you head all the way to the top of a tall apartment, there's a secret hidden in plain sight. Rather than climbing the ladder, simply head to the destroyed staircase behind it. With the help of a fireplace, you can climb up these previously inaccessible stairs. Up here you can stash crates and even build a gate, although do be careful that nobody moves in below, as apartments make great bases for all types of players, being relatively easy to secure with just one door at the bottom and another to block off the window to prevent boosting. While apartment bases are great with lots of rooms and high vantage points, you do have to pick the location wisely. Some apartment roofs can be accessed via adjacent apartments, either directly attached or by performing risky jumps and siege towers. You can even do some crazy parkour from the roof to land on the balconies, which can be especially useful during a raid.
Before we go any further, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Dig into their biggest menu yet, with 50 plus diner options and even more market items that suit any healthy lifestyle. Plus, you can start your day right with free breakfast for life. Get 1 free breakfast item per box while your subscription is active. Give HelloFresh a try and choose from 30 plus calorie smart and protein smart recipes each week. Packed with fresh ingredients, everything arrives pre-portioned and right at your doorstep. As a content creator, life gets pretty busy, but this is a perfect option for me, saving me time and money while providing me with delicious and healthy meals. You can even mix and match lifestyle options to suit your needs, like fit and wholesome, family friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian and more. And everything can be tailored to your schedule by just adjusting the delivery date and even skipping weeks when you're not able to cook at home. As the seasons change, so do their seasonal menus, which highlight peak ingredients and flavours from every season. Remember, click the link in the description and use my code to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while your subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside of the US, the local discounts will apply.
The strongest base location on this list has to be the prison buildings on either Chernobyl or Livonia. With only one entrance being a long and narrow tunnel, you can easily fill this with gates, turning it into a fortress. Do note, while the other tunnel that leads to the courtyard looks like a great opportunity to fill it with more gates, this can be easily avoided by raiders, as once you gain access to the tower, you can climb across these fences and onto the roof of the second tunnel, so make sure you focus all your building efforts onto the front of the prison. If you do it right, you'll have one of, if not the strongest base in DayZ. Another great strong location are these town apartments, only located on Chernobyl and only found in Cherno and Novo, but if you build it right, you can fit up to 7 gates upstairs. The great thing about these buildings is that they often go unlooted by other players, so the chances of someone finding your base is pretty low. You can even expand the design to include more gates downstairs, but I find it's better to keep everything upstairs and remain more hidden, as you can't raid a base that you haven't found. And that's where having a smaller but more secret base or stash can be more ideal. One of my favourite hidden stash locations is the top of these silo buildings in Cherno. With a backpack full of planks and nails, you can climb the adjacent building, perform this risky parkour, and then craft crates up here to store your valuables. To get down, you can jump back onto this pipe and follow it down. Another great stash location is this shipwreck just off the coast of Skelicity. With no loot spawning here, players have no reason to swim out here, so it's a great location for wooden crates. A similar trick is to place a small wooden crate in this wooden boat on a black lake. With it being so close to the Riffy Toxic Zone, it's a great place to store your NPC gear, but in all honesty, you're always best finding your own stash locations. A great trick is to cut down a tree and bury your loot underneath it. Upon restart, it will regrow and cover the stash. Try the same trick on bigger trees and you can even fit an entire barrel in the tree. After restart, it will regrow and you can access the loot within. Alternatively, you can hide barrels and crates in bodies of water, being practically invisible from anyone looking in from afar. Although, while a great stash may be the best option for keeping your loot secure, it simply will never be as cool as an actual base. And the coolest location on this list has to be the secret hidden cave on Sakau. In fact, there's multiple hidden caves on Sakau, but this one is by far the coolest, located just southwest of the large military island. Pretty hard to find, but if you crawl through this entrance, there's a hidden cave, with 2 rooms that you can even fit tents in and build walls. The only downside, there's a massive gaping hole in the roof, although rest assured you can't actually fit through here. However, cave bases are pretty impractical. A more low-key option are these tall industrial buildings, located across Chernobyl and Sakau, and can be easily fortified by placing a gate at the bottom and then walling off the ladders. They even have this gap in the wall which you can snipe out of. Combine this with a camo net and you're basically invisible. These buildings aren't very common, but you can definitely find some in Novaya and on the road leading west from Solnichi. On Sakau, you can find one west of the volcano, a great location for farming briefcases. Another great Sakau location is the factory just south of the geothermal plant, which has a fully intact barbed wire perimeter. This means that there's no gaps and nobody can vault over, so if you block over the front, you get this entire compound and the buildings inside for yourself and your group. And these tin buildings, which can be found on Sakau and Livonia, make for great base locations, big enough to fit everything you'd ever need. If you're not a fan of these tech buildings are again a great option. You can find more of these on Chernobyl, with my personal favourite being located at the Komarovo docks. With just a few walls, you can lock off this entire building, although do be careful, as with enough people you can boost up the side and onto the roof, so don't forget to secure this. However, my favourite location on Sakau has to be these cranes. These can be secured with just one gate, making for quite a cozy little solo base with a vantage point of the surrounding area. Now, I can't make a base location video without mentioning my personal favourite solo location, this small shed, tucked away in the woods just north of Cherno. With one door, you can wall off this entire shed, which is large enough to fit tents and multiple cars. In fact, these are located all across Cherno, Livonia and Sakau, and I can guarantee there'll be one in a decent location in whatever part of the map you want to settle in. What I would love to see is someone turn one of these into a boat base. There's a few located on the Livonia River. Just imagine pushing your boat from your base into the water and driving down to Topolin to terrorise some innocent freshspawns. In fact, there's hundreds of small little tucked away houses and sheds that make for great base locations. The more off the beaten track, the better. A quick look at iSurvive and online DayZ map tool and you'll find some locations worth investigating. But some of my personal favourites are this shed just east of Mogilevka, which can be secured with just 2 walls and can even fit a car inside. This house just south of Mister, and this cabin just south of the Lopatino checkpoint. There's even some great options for Livonia. This log cabin just north of the bunker, perfect for bunker runs, and this fortress house just north of Grabbin. This can be secured with just 1 wall, and is so far out of the way that nobody will bother venturing here. But again, I recommend for the most perfect location to find your own spot, as that one will be safe from the raiders watching these videos. What will always be a good spot though is a church base. You can even drive cars into some of these. I personally prefer the one just south of Serograd, as it's close to Devil's Castle, 2 summer camps and Kamensk military base. But if this is taken, there's an equally good church just north of Serograd, although castles may be arguably better, with their defensive nature lending themselves well to base designs. However, you do have to consider that these are a hotspot for other players, so only build here if you can handle the action. A similar, more low-key option are dams. You can squeeze a gate and even a watchtower in these gaps, which makes for quite a cozy little base location. And finally, you can build your own location. With 2 or 4 watchtowers facing each other, you can build freestanding structures. I started work on one of these in the northeast corner of Chernobyl on official, and for now it still remains strong. But you can build one of these wherever seems fit. I think building one of these on Paradise Island, or maybe one of the many islands on Sakau, would be quite a cool challenge. But let me know what you think down in the comments and what base locations I missed.